Carissa Pavlika, TV Fanatic. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Krista.
Good, thank you. So the romance between Cadence and Gat walks a line between dreamlike and doomed. Beginning with you, Emily, can each of you talk a little bit about what you wanted to bring to that dynamic?
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to put it, you know. They have a relationship that's not it's not a conventional love story, you know. There's lots of hurdles that they have to go through to get to, where they want to be. And I don't know if they even know exactly where that is. They're so young and kind of, I think, vulnerable in the beginning. So we get to see this kind of blossoming love story, but all of the hurdles that come with that, the pain, the suffering, the everything feels like it's the end of the world. And that stuff is so relatable because we've all been through it. So, it was just such an amazing experience to be able to do that with Shabam because it wasn't really that hard to fall in love with him. Um, as I'm sure all the viewers feel love you. How did you feel?
The same way, and I completely agree. It was honestly incredible. I mean, first of all, I honestly fell in love with Gat and Katie when I read the book,
Yeah.
so that was just an immediate thing. And then to actually meet Emily, and then to know that we're gonna bring this to life was just immediately so exciting, and just wanted to start right away. And I'm so thankful to her that she's the one that I did my first project with, because it was such a great way to sort of start. And she kept me so relaxed and comfortable. And I think that was also important for the relationship that Gat and Katie have with each other, because they're best friends, and they
They lean on
are,
each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they are each other's safe space and comfort, their comfort basically. So
Agreed.
yeah, it was awesome.
And Emily, there was already the ups and downs of a young romance blossoming, but then she loses her memory, and it's a total reset of reframing of their relationship and herself. What can you tell me about how you approach the shift in tone and her trust of everybody else?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's very complicated because what she's going through is very suspicious, right? So there's like she knows that she has this stability in her life. She has her life. She goes back there every year. you know, she gets to see Gat, she gets to see her cousins who she loves very much. Everything has always been very stagnant and very similar. Nothing has changed. And that is, like you said, feels very safe for Cadence. Whether or not all of this horrible stuff or all of these, all of this stuff is happening around them with the elders, you know, she gets to, for a summer, pretend that none of that is happening and kind of lose herself and run around with her best friends. And once she loses her memory and has no idea why the guy she loves, her family and slash best friends, and everyone in her life basically who have been her norm, who have been her steadiness throughout her life, are just gone. And they won't tell her why. They don't respond to her. They ghost her.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that that would make anyone go crazy. So really what it was like we were filming a lot of, it's non-linear, but we were not filming it the flashback summer 16 all at once then summer 17. We were filming summer 16, summer 17 same day sometimes. So to get into that headspace was quite easy though, because we would have like a scene where it would be a beautiful love scene, or we'd be running around on the beach, or we'd be hanging out, and then I'd come back with different hair and he would be saying things like, what are you talking about, why don't you remember? And it felt like I was being gaslit. So really, I just kind of pulled from that, which was like, what do you mean you don't remember? That was literally yesterday, or that was literally today, you know? And it makes you go crazy. So I could understand why that would be so. I find it interesting for the liars though, because I think that that was probably a different hurdle, having to, yeah, without spoilers, play that might have been maybe
Just
more
approaching it a
difficult.
different way,
It's a
really,
different,
just to protect you, and
yeah,
yeah, not let you know what happened,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Shabam, there's like an invisible line between the insiders and the outsiders on the island. Even though Gat and Ed are as inside as probably anybody's going to get, that line was still there. And can you
Absolutely.
discuss a little bit about how that divide shapes Gat?
I think it. it's the fuel that decides all his, like, makes all his decisions. All the things that he decides to do and say is kind of fueled by that. Every time he's on the island, the one thing that's immediately apparent is that he comes from a different world. He comes from a completely different class and of wealth, and he's on Beachwood Island, and he's technically like inside, but just doesn't mean anything. He doesn't feel it at all. And I think it just makes it so hard because he's also in love with a Sinclair girl, and just the way Ed is, and so it just kind of creates this internal conflict of, man, I want to be with this person and I want to be a part of this family, but they don't want me. They don't want me to be a part of their family. And so that internal struggle is kind of what I think drives his decisions, makes him say the things he says, even though it sometimes may not be said in the best way, but it's all kind of fueled by that. So that's a big sort of, driving force, I guess.
And we only have about 30 seconds, but I do want to point out, and I want you just to speak on it really quick,
Yeah.
that you both come from different worlds. We have somebody brand new to the industry and somebody who's been
Wow.
doing this for
That's
almost her whole
tremendous.
life. And how did you two learn from each other? What did you learn on set?
I learned so much from her. I learned so much from her. And the thing that I appreciate the most about her is that I can ask all my stupid questions. Like, because this is also new, like you said, and I had such stupid questions sometimes.
No, you
But
didn't.
she'd listen, she'd listen as if I'm asking the most intellectual question ever, and she'd give an honest answer. And she just immediately let me know that she's going to be there for me, and not just for this project, but throughout my career.
I love
And I know that,
and I will be.
and I know she will be.
And
So.
I know he will be. And you know what? The thing that I love so much about Shabam was working with someone every day that really wanted to be there. He cared so much. He was never not prepared. He knew everything from the get-go. He wanted to learn. He was the brightest star because he had this energy, that you really see when you work with people who have been doing it for a long time and they're in burnout or they're kind of jaded. And it was just so wonderful because you just brought such a light to the show. And I think that yeah, I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh,
You're the best. Love fest. Thank
And people are going to fall in love with both of you. So thank you.
you.
thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a good one.